No. Hello and good morning and welcome to Crash. Today I'm here with Mac, Rob, and Evan, and today we'll be diving into the story of a Vietnam War veteran, Private Bill Mills, who had quite the unfortunate return home.
Private Mills was stationed in Laos on the front lines with many of his other brothers and sisters that he made throughout his time in the armed forces. He was a part of the Airborne Battalion where he met and became very close with many people, including other troops, leaders, and supervisors. Overall, a well-respected soldier.
During his time in the war, he encountered many difficult obstacles that he had to face alone and alongside people. Some of these obstacles included seeing and treating injured people in front of live fire. One of his injuries put Private Mills out of service for about 3 weeks. This was because he was running back to the camp and fractured his ankle. This incident was only a hairline fracture, so he was able to return to combat with proper wrapping. After he returned to the front lines while treating other people's injuries, he also had to tend to himself with his own injuries. One of the major injuries he suffered during this time on the front lines was an injury to his foot. But Bill got shot in the foot while attempting to take cover during a skirmish with many Vietnamese troops. This sent him home for a long period of time.
As a result of this, he was sent to a recovery hospital in Little Rock, Arkansas. This hospital was meant for troops that needed attention not only physically, but mentally as well. While in treatment in the hospital, he became close with another soldier. This soldier's name was Sergeant Kerry Price. They built a very strong relationship and became very close in a short amount of time.
Sergeant Price did not have it easy in the war either. He was on the front lines throughout the war and watched both of his closest friends next to him get shot in the head. Price also suffered from a broken rib and torn cartilage in his knee during the Vietnamese attack, but that wouldn't affect him as badly as the mental cost of the attack. This left Price with raging PTSD that would affect him the rest of his life. After leaving the hospital, Sergeant Price and Private Mills stayed in contact and remained helping each other throughout their recovery. On Mills' way to see his family, he figured it would be a good idea to surprise his family and just walk through the door. When he arrived at his house, he saw a police car outside his house, and immediately at this point, he had rushed into the house to see what was going on, and he walked into his wife and an officer sitting on the couch. His wife, in an abundance of tears and completely bent out of shape, forgetting the fact that he hasn't been home in months, he instantly sat down to figure out what was going on.
His wife further explained how she hasn't seen their daughter in a matter of 36 hours and was starting to get worried. That same night, he received a phone call, thinking that it was going to be somebody calling to say that they had found their daughter. He answered to a much worse outcome than he anticipated. The phone call started off by introducing themselves as a doctor and asking his name and confirming the situation that was going on. The voice on the phone he described as being soft, gentle voice that at first sounded soothing, but then told Private Mills and his wife that they had found his daughter. She had gotten into an accident and had been hit by a car. Following this, they told us she was at Arkansas State Hospital in the ICU section in critical condition.
At this point, Mr. Mills doesn't hear anything anymore. Life around him seems to stop. Private Mills and his wife made it down to the hospital, only to find out that their daughter was unconscious at the scene when a witness called the ambulance. Grace was rushed to the hospital and suffered injuries to her arms, legs, and head. When they arrived, they found her in a medically induced coma because of the severity of her injuries. As things progressed, the outcome of her health starting to get a lot better, and her future started to become clearer. It then started to come to light to Private Mills, who was the drunk imbecile that hit his precious daughter.
He asked the police officers what happened, and through the description that a witness gave the police, it was a black sedan with 2 males in the front seats. They drove on the sidewalk and struck her from behind and proceeded to flee the scene. He knew that the police couldn't do anything further because it was only a partial plate, one of the most common cars, and no street cameras anywhere near the accident. He called up his friend, Sergeant Price, because he knew that with both of their skills combined, they would result into a better outcome. The two of them spent days trying to figure out how to catch the people that has hit his daughter. This included visiting the scene, checking nearby hospitals, alleys, clinics, etc. Still, nothing to be found.
Private Mills needed a break. He decided to go for a walk around the block, only to find a beat-up black sedan with a broken windshield and a front bumper hanging off the frame. He used his knowledge of where the accident happened and what the people driving the car could have done after they hit her to determine that this could very well be the car that hit his daughter. The partial plate also lined up with the actual license plate that was still on the car. Private Mills decided to get the police force involved, but request that he runs point on any of following operations that they continue to do. The force agreed, and allowed him to track down the owners of the car and pursue a lawsuit for emotional distress, fleeing the scene of a crime, and negligent driving under the influence.
Private Mills, alongside Sergeant Price and the Little Rock Police Force, obtained a warrant for the arrest of the 2 people in the car. Then they went to the house to make the arrest and get justice for his daughter. The 2 people were sent to county jail overnight to foresee a trial within the next few days to determine their fate. The ruling of the court sent both of these people to jail for a period of 15 years for the injuries they caused along with fleeing the scene.
We have set up an interview with Private Mills to hear from a primary source the pain and the events that he encountered during his horrific experience.
Hello, Mr. Mills.
Hello, Mr. Mills.
Hello.
So, let's jump right into it.
Sounds good.
So, what kind of things did you have to go through while you were in the war?
Well, when I was in Laos, I was shot in the foot during battle and had to undergo immense pain while still protecting my country with anything I had left in my body.
Wait, so you had to be brave enough to still fight off the enemies while treating to yourself so you didn't die on the battlefield?
Yes, precisely.
So let's get a little broader now. Do you believe anybody can be a hero?
Yes, I do think that anybody and everybody can be a hero. Heroes don't have to be a celebrity figure of any kind, and it can be an ordinary person that just has a good heart. Heroes consist of helping others without being asked to do so, and just pretty much being somebody's guardian angel.
What responsibilities did you have when you came back from the war?
At first, I had to take care of my foot in order for it to heal properly so I could return back to war, but this quickly changed when I found out that my daughter was hit by a car. My responsibilities quickly changed from me to her. I had to focus on finding out who hit her so I would be able to get justice for her injuries. My new responsibilities included supporting her in any way she needed, while she was also trying to figure out, with the help of Sergeant Price, where the crooks that hit her had gone.
So, my next question is, can a hero go unnoticed?
So, yes, Sergeant Price. So, he was dealing with all of his own issues, which involved coming back to his family with an injury and his mental state from being over at the war. He was not obligated to help me find the people that hit my daughter, but out of the goodness of his heart, he decided to help me and ultimately found them in the end. If not for him, no justice would have been awarded for my daughter's accident. Price is my hero.
Thank you, Mr. Mills. Your story has truly touched everybody's hearts today in such a strong emotional way.
No problem. Thank you for allowing me to share my story and listening to what I had to say.
And thank you for coming in. Thank you for listening to Crash, and tune in next week to find out why kids are overwhelmed with work.